Hello and welcome to this course about how to create reality with public relations, because what we call PR today is ultimately creating realities. My name is Kalina and I'm an expert. I actually have master's degree in public relations and mass communications. And in this course, I'm going to review and I'm going to dissect PR in its core, what we actually call PR. And I want to make clear that it's not going to be about manipulation, especially in a malicious ways or with bad intentions. It's not going to be about manifestation, even though I believe in the law of attraction and I believe that manifestation is a thing, it is something that is real. That's not going to be about manifestation because that's not my expertise. I'm going to leave it to the people who actually explain the law of attraction. It's not going to be about psychology or any psychological or medical advice. I'm not a psychologist or a doctor. I'm a public relations specialist. I want to make this clear because I don't want any confusion. Also, it is going to be oriented in terms of professional life, in terms of business, in terms of career. So this is going to be the nature of the advice, and it is going to be for people who either have their own business or want to improve their career and they are communicating with a lot of people and they want to create better overall environment for themselves, as well as to become better in ways that is going to impact their lives and their careers. So this is what the course is going to be about. I hope you will benefit. Now, if you expect that it is going to be some kind of public relations strategy or personal branding or personal image or anything like that, or communication or anything on the surface level like body language, anything like that, this is going to be a slight part of it, but that is rather on the surface kind of things. And what I want to do in this course is a little more like a deep dive into the core of public relations, like how people actually have used this as a concept in order to create and shape realities in our world today, even, so this is what I'm going to review, and also how you can use it yourself in order to evaluate the impact that is on your life, that where is it coming from, as well as how you can contribute for yourself, for your own life, and for the world around you. So this is going to be that course about, and if you're interested, you're welcome to join. If this is not what you expect, it's okay, you don't have to watch it. I just put it out there for the people who may be interested into looking deeply into themselves as well as into the society that we live in. Also, it is not going to be about the evil system that controls us or anything like that, because it is really, I don't actually think that the PR as a concept is evil of its own. I think that it may be used for evil purposes, but it is pretty much like money. There are people who have money that are not earned in an honest way, that are earned with bad tactics, basically with bad principles, in ways that are either immoral or illegal, and they are also using that money in a bad way. But there are also hardworking people that have legitimately worked hard for their money. So just the fact that somebody owns money doesn't make them a bad person. And also money can be used for good and for bad. So it's the same with public relations and the concept that we're going to look into. They can be used for bad and they can be used for good. So the purpose of this course is hopefully for you, for the viewer, to use it for your own benefit and to impact the world around you and the environment around you and the reality in a good, positive ways. Okay, so let me start with one quote from Edward Bernays from the book Propaganda that was written in 1928, so a long time ago, long before the social media environment today. So it is going to illustrate what we're actually talking about in this course. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. Vast numbers of human beings must cooperate in this manner if they are to live together as a smoothly functioning society. Okay, so this is pretty much illustrating why the public relations was initially created and how it occurred as a concept before it was even called public relations. But also I think there is something more to it, because it is not only for the purpose of living smoothly in one society because we are a large number of people. Of course, that is a valid point and a valid reason, but also I believe that PR techniques were used in a way that they would benefit some large companies, also governments, or even specific humans. Of course, they were used in this way as well. Later in this book, he is explaining, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm not going to look for it. You can read the book yourself, so you're going to see this concept. But basically, he's talking how first the societies were most of the countries were largely governed by kings. And a king is, from a family, from a king's family, it is pretty clear who is going to be the next king or queen. So it was one way of somebody having power over the society and over people. Eventually, when a lot of countries, at least on the West and in Europe, became republics, what happened is that now that the large masses are selecting the people that are going to be in charge, the governments and the presidents, etc., people are looking for impacting the masses. And they believe that this is going to be the new way to gain power. And it was not only used by the governments directly, it was also used by different people in different ways. This is when media started to be called the fourth estate, suggesting that because everything that was going to people was filtered through them, they were pretty much an instrument of that kind of new power. Okay, so basically this is the idea behind. And for this course in particular, because I want to make it practical, I can say that creating reality comes down to two major things. The first is understanding and building yourself. The second is understanding and creating the reality around you. Basically, this is what we're going to work with. So in this lecture, I'm going to start with explaining how people are impacted, the core of the impact, not the sources of the impact. How people are impacted, what makes it possible for people to be impacted. So let's start with the way that people perceive and experience the reality. Okay, what do we call reality and how do we experience it? Because we live in a physical reality and we have five senses. Of course, there is the sixth sense that is a little more about intuition, but we have five major senses like our eyes, our ears, our scent, etc. And those senses are basically experiencing the world. They are collecting information and data about the environment around us, about the physical environment. Then what is happening, we also have our brain, our minds, our nervous system, and it is processing that information and interprets it. So basically we have our senses that collect the information, that are seeing the world, what we immediately see or feel or hear, and the direct data that is coming in, and then we are making a meaning out of this data. We are actually making it mean something. Basically, the most direct example, of course the most simplified, is when you feel something is too hot. You touch something and your senses tell you it's too hot. Basically, you pull your hand. Why? Because it interprets it as danger. Basically, your nervous system is telling you that this is very hot and it can hurt you, right? So in this way we are actually interpreting the data. It doesn't just gets into us. We start interpreting it and making it mean something. And that is happening on individual level as well as on collective level. So the way that we're impacted is when we are not only given data, but we are also given the meaning behind this data, what that information needs to mean for us. Basically, that's what we are given. Because let's say you are experiencing, let's say, a song or something that is written. Now, the experience that you have is not only the words, but also the melody that can hold certain frequency. Then you may read something and you're experiencing it in a way that it could be phrased in certain way, that is certain structure. So it is not only the words and the meaning of the words, it's like it is phrased in certain way. Certain things are put in between it. Also, it could be made with the images, especially with the images. People are mostly perceiving data with our eyes. I think it's like 80 or 90% of the information about the world comes through our eyes and through our sense of sight. So it is used in ways that it impacts us, not only with the data itself that we are taking in, but also with the meaning behind it. So basically this is how the impact is made. Because imagine that you're looking at a picture. Actually, imagine first you're looking at something, let's say some group of people or certain situation, something that is one moment of time and one particular space, and then there's a picture that is taken. So this picture is on certain carrier, either on a screen or on a piece of paper. Then you look at this picture and you start noticing details that you didn't notice immediately when you looked at the actual thing or the group of people or the person. So those details are pretty much they're still somehow getting into your system, but your focus is not directed on them. And this is why they impact you, but very often you don't even understand that they impact you. You see what I mean? Try to look at some situation that is, let's say, moving, a reality that is not static. You look at something at a certain moment of time. You see the full picture. Maybe you see some details that you notice. Some people notice certain details, other people notice other details. Afterwards, look at the picture of the same moment, of the same space, and see how many more details you're going to see. And those details are pretty much not going through your conscious understanding, but they're still somehow getting into your system. So we are impacted in a lot of ways without even knowing. And when we are saying something, very often that same thing may have been said by many other people, and it may not even be our own opinion or our own thing that we think. And we may actually think that we have came to this conclusion, but it's not really us. So it is very important to understand what you are pretty much thinking, what you're saying, the way that you're acting. Where is the influence coming from? Who is leading that whole experience? This is important because when you understand that, when something is controlling your conscious or subconscious mind, it is also controlling your feelings, it is also controlling your whole state of being, and it is controlling your choices, and it's also controlling your actions. And this is how your reality is being created. So people are talking about manifestation, but this process is actually about collective creation. And there are several things that you need to understand, and this is going to be the end of our first lecture. There are several things that you need to understand. First is how to contribute to that creation process, or how you already contribute without even knowing it. Because you always contribute, sometimes in a positive, sometimes in a negative ways. Very often you're not directing your contributions. It happens just by your actions and by the things that you don't really understand that are impacting you. So this is very important to understand. Where is your contribution? Are you the person who directs and manages this contribution? And if not, then who is directing it? So that's the second actually point that you need to understand. Who is leading? Who is leading? In your particular case, who is the person who is leading? And I'm not going to tell you specifically the people that are leading. I'm gonna teach you how to understand it in your own position, in your own reality, because it is going to be different. It is going to be different. It is not about there are people who manipulate the whole world. It is not about that. It is about learning how to recognize for your own life. And again, I'm talking in practical sense, in a ways that it impacts your day-to-day life, your job, your career, or your business if you have a business, in this kind of way. So I'm not going to point out a person, I'm going to teach you in this course how to recognize and what to do about it if you don't like this particular person or source or group of people to lead the way that you think, the way that you feel, and the choices that you make. And the third thing is that is very important is what is your potential optimal part in creating the reality. Because depending on your value system, on your skills, on your abilities, on the things that you like and dislike doing, you have an optimal part that you can play that will not only give you the most success that is possible, in terms of career and business, but it will also contribute to the society, to the reality around you in the best possible way. So we're going to talk about how to recognize the best role basically that you can play, like your optimal part. So this is the first lecture of this course. I'm going to do it as a playlist, so expect the next, and please let me know in the comments what you think, what you experience. Is it positive for you? Is it useful for you, the information that I'm giving you? It is not actually information, it is more like kind of an analysis that is going to be helpful in a practical way. Because I think the information is actually out there way before my course, but I'm going to synthesize it and analyze it professionally. So please let me know if that is fulfilling for you, if that is useful in some ways, if it is helpful. Will you use that for your life and your career, etc.? And expect the next lecture. Thank you very much for watching.